Good morning, and I hope you didn't drink too much yesterday. So let us begin with today's panel. It's going to be about what are we expecting to change in monetization in 2024. So today I'm going to start with quick introductions with ourselves and our companies. So this is Göksu. I'm going to moderate this session, actually. So I am working at Potensus as a COO, and Potensus is a Google Ad Manager partner. So we are working with mainly mobile gaming companies and trying to uplift on their revenue projection, etc. So maybe you can intro yourselves.
Hello, my name is Balaji. I'm the head of publishing for Sunday. We're a hyper casual or hybrid casual, whatever casual we call these days. We are a developer publisher based out of Hamburg, and we have offices in Germany, India, and starting here as well. And we are, as a company, we are part of AppLovin group. Like in the panel before, Edjo is also one of us as a companies, right? So yeah, thank you.
Hi all, I'm John. I work as partnership manager at Miniclip. Miniclip is one of the biggest developers and publishers in the West world, with close to 70 million DAU and 17 studios.
Hi, I'm Naz. I'm a business development manager at AppLovin. A little bit on what we do. We build technologies for businesses to connect to their ideal users. And we provide software for businesses to grow and monetize these global audiences.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I'm going to ask a bit wrap-up questions. It's going to be only two. So who are using AppLovin Max as a mediation? Can we see any raise? Perfect. So, and also who are working with any Google Ad Manager partners? And also, can I see hands? Great. Perfect. So I'm moving to our questions to our panelists, and it's going to be, again, as I mentioned, what are we expecting to change in monetization in 2024? Because there has been a lot of changes in recently. That's why we would like to explain the details and maybe great ideas that we can share. So the first question will be to Naz, actually. So mobile gaming has seen various monetization models like freemium, in-app purchases, ads, and subscription. So how do you anticipate these models will evolve in 2024, and what new monetization strategies might emerge?
Thanks, Göksu, for the question. So as you know, many publishers are moving away from hyper-casual to hybrid casual. In essence, it's the same core, simple mechanic, but it's coupled with more advanced social and gaming features. So it's still easy to pick up, but have better retention and engagement in the long term. As a result, it creates a platform for hybrid monetization, meaning you could easily have in-app ads as well as in-app revenue. So this shows that, as a result of this, people are adding, like all kinds of publishers are adding more IAPs to their games. And part of the reason is the decline in CPM over the last few years. And this increase in IAPs are, of course, validated by store figures. So this is not to say that ad monetization is going anywhere by any means. It's not leaving the picture. On the contrary, it'll be sharing the picture with IAPs. And the real challenge here is to find a balance and find a way to integrate ads and IAPs in a way that doesn't feel obtrusive.
Thank you very much, Naz. I believe, Balaji, you have also several answers to this question, because you are on the gaming side as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can add something as well.
Sure. I mean, as publishing, we work both on product and monetization at the same time, right? So like Naz said, I have a little bit different perspective on developers moving from hyper casual to a hybrid casual. I mean, the fact is, like, the CPIs are going up and the eCPMs are going down, so everybody's trying to find an answer, yeah, right? So everybody's trying to do it in a different way. I don't think IAP is like a magic wand. right? In the end, you're dealing with players, at least from what we do, we deal with mass marketable audience. What does that mean? We target games for everyone. It's a big psychological barrier if you expect a player who has never used a card before in your game to just whip out the card and pay you IAP. You know, but it is possible that if they're watching like 4 ads, you can make them watch 8 ads, right? But here's the trick. We also know from the admin side, like after a certain amount of RVs, from what I remember, it was 5 in a single session, the value drops down, right? So you need to constantly balance, like who are you serving, what are you serving, and why are you serving, right? In the end, it doesn't matter if they watch ads, it doesn't matter what they pay you. In the end, you're trying to monetize the engagement, but you're also trying to monetize their psychological behavior, right? So I think you need to just take this into account. And you're going back to your original question, what do we change in 2024? I mean, let's be honest, right? We have tried so many things. 2 years ago, audio ads was a big thing, fizzled out. Now there are like different ways of, someone said like tickets is a big thing. In the end, you're just like monetizing time of watching 8 rewarded ads by selling it, right? But 95% of the revenue comes from ads and IAP. So in the end, I don't think that's going to change. What's going to change is the implementation of it and how do you measure it, right? Like cohort-wise.
Thank you very much. That was too insightful. Thank you. So the second question is a bit related to mobile gaming markets and different type of regions. So the mobile gaming market is highly diverse across different regions and culture. How do you guys anticipate regional trends and preferences to impact monetization strategies in 2024? Will player expectation need to tailor their approaches to accommodate varying player expectations and economic conditions worldwide? So I guess it might be related to John. That's why I'm leaving the words to him.
Yeah. So when you're someone like Miniclip, our games are very diverse because like we do like football games, basketball games. These are all diverse audiences. 8-ball pool is huge across all regions. Similarly, we have a big audience in India with Cricket League, Karon. 8-ball pool is also quite big there. So for us, it's key to keep track of what's happening in these markets, both macroeconomical situations and also cultural movements. So for us, for example, local events are quite important. So our calendar starts with Lunar New Year, then we had the Carnival in Brazil, we have the Diwali, we had the like classical Black Friday, Thanksgiving. So we are trying to accommodate these events in all of our games. And localization is just like, it's not only what you have on the App Store assets and in-game text. You need to make sure that you have localized events, so things that the players can relate to themselves. Then you also need to have promos, offers to monetize those cultural moments. And you also need to make sure that these offers are priced at the local prices. So like we are in Turkey, so we know how absurd the currency situation is. So you need to understand the market and price everything accordingly. Like in India, for example, the main strategy is usually low IAPs, and you try to drive volume, you try to drive first-time conversions. So that's quite important for a market like India. And yeah, like for us, it's key to work with App Store partners as well. Google Play and Apple App Store, they have new products which allow us to A/B test these, localize accordingly. So yeah, I think it's key to make sure that you understand the market as a team.
Yep. You are right. Localization is always bottleneck for each game, actually. So the third question will be striking the right balance between keeping player engaged and generating revenue is crucial, as you can imagine. How do you think mobile game developers will approach this balance in the coming year? What strategies on innovations might emerge to ensure that monetization efforts don't compromise the overall enjoyment of players? So I'm going to ask this question first Naz and then Balaji, okay?
Thank you. So in ad-heavy titles, like you said, it's crucial to find a good balance. Otherwise, you will be disrupting the game experience and facing customer backlash. So we strongly recommend rigorously testing your ad logic. And you have to measure retention at every step and hitting pause if you see retention taking a hit and reshaping your strategy. But of course, publishers will want to have enough ads in place so they can maintain a high ARPDAU. But there, they need to make sure they don't go overboard with too many ads or aggressive templates. So again, the key here is to keep testing, add frequencies, add placements, and apply capping if need be. And luckily, Max Mediation has this feature to A/B test, limiting the number of ads shown to a user in real time, so you monitor metrics and take action accordingly. Another best practice that helps mitigate churn is using bid floors. So in case you haven't heard of them, bid floors are basically when you're saying, I don't want any ads to be shown if the CPM is below $1. And of course, that's just an example. But basically, the idea is you're sparing your users the interruption if the incremental revenue gain for you is minimal. Again, test, find the sweet spot. I keep saying test, I know, but that is the key here. And let's say you've got all of these in place, you get a nice balance, roses and unicorns, but it doesn't end there. So the reason is bad ads can still cause churn. And what I mean by bad ads is it could be problematic, it could be the content, the risky content that frustrates your users. So to prevent that, we strongly recommend using our complementary ad review tool, which will monitor the creative served on your inventory for you and flag risky creative. So you can go through that creative, and if you want it removed from your inventory, you can easily, on the UI, contact the ad network serving that particular creative with the relevant information, so those can be removed for you. And last but not least, you might want to use ad gates for your new users, which is when you say, I don't want to serve ads until the user gets engaged, and you need to set a particular level in the game or a certain amount of time, which would be predefined. Again, you just have to test and see what the ideal point is.
Yeah, I'm going to go at this from first the product side and then from the admin side, right? Like from a product side, like first know your users, like cohort them, right? Like Naz mentioned, don't show too many ads or don't show too many ads. I would like ask you this question: who is this user? Is this user someone who is going to just go away in one day, no matter what you do? Show them 20 ads. What are you going to lose, right? Like, is this a user that is going to be a potential so-called whale? Then yes, space it out. And it doesn't matter use Max or we use our own MMP, but I'm pretty sure there are several other MMPs who do the same job, right? Then about like the most important question for a user is, what do I get when I watch this ad? You're asking for that time, right? Yep. So what do they get? And this is what is going to make them watch like the next one and the next one and the next one, right? And you can profile these users quite easily these days. Then always test for the long term. Like it's always, I think most of the times you see like false positives in a very short testing period, but like it's time in some of your games to do like D30 tests, right? And then from the compliance side, yes, quality of ads is important. You can do many things, but in the end, you don't have full control, right? But here I would also talk to the admin partners to be self-managed a little bit. Like what I noticed in the last weeks or last months is this some I would call questionable practices. I'm not going to name any names here, but like where you add 1 or 2 pixels next to the cross where you close the ad to increase the ad impressions by like a few times. Yep. Now, there's no way possible to detect this unless you manually test this game every day for 1 hour, right? Now, this is the resource. Can you afford? Not everybody can afford it. Even we don't have the time. We're a big publisher, right? The only ones, I would say, who are really self-managed in this perspective is AdMob. Like, really good job. I think that can be, it is possible to make money and be, self-managed in this way, right? In the end, everybody loses if you do this, right? And then from the admin side, like where your business head, right? Like, doesn't matter the number of impressions. It's about like what does each impression lead to, right? Is it like lead to better player engagement, but also like is it good for you to show a fifth ad as an inter or a rewarded or what? And of course there are new ad formats. I think it's only by AdMob right now, but maybe somebody else also has it, where you have like this rewarded inters where you get something for 5 or 6 seconds, and then you can skip it instead of 30.
Yep.
But the problem is it's too early. So that's the other side of the coin because it's not consistent, right? For a user, if they watch an ad 2 times, that they can skip in 5 seconds, and then the third they can skip in 30 seconds, you're creating frustration.
Right.
So there also we are waiting for, how do you call it, like normalcy, right? It's a supply and demand ratio. So it's a function of time, but you need to it's time that you cohort, you measure, you balance all of these factors, right? Yeah, that's for me.
Right. And in the meantime, you were dealing such details, testing many things on your end, and also there has been several changes in the market as well. For example, in the data and privacy questionable details, etc. So recently, as you know, in the next couple of months, we will be making sure that we are using TCF, etc. That's why I would like to mention this topic in the panel as well. So this question will be related to data privacy regulations, and App Store policies have been evolving rapidly. In this changing landscape, how do you think developers will adapt their monetization strategies to comply with new regulations while maintaining profitability, for example? And what effects might these changes have on the user acquisition and retention? So John might be the...
I can mainly speak about the App Store side. So we are seeing that there's a lot of in-app purchases moving to out-of-app purchases, especially on these public social casinos, like they give all their financial reports. Some of them reach up to 20% on that off-store purchases. So I think that's a big opportunity, especially for big companies, since you are not paying that 30%. But at the end of the day, for the casual audience, it's just too much work, I think. So it will really depend on how app stores will actually apply this policy, if they are going to allow you to revert users directly from in-app to the off-store. But from my understanding, it's just for casual audience that makes small purchases, the amount of time that you do with the iPhone, for example, you just Face ID and purchase at the second. So I think that will be interesting to see in the future. On the App Store side, I can tell that. On the data privacy side, I think it's just an issue from the IDFA side. We also saw that a lot of us had declining UA side, declining ad monetization side. So I guess it's just trying to maximize opt-in users. And Google Privacy Sandbox is also coming, so developers need to be ready for that and talk with Google if they have partners, what's going on, anticipate the changes. So I think that's the key thing for developers next year.
Great, thank you. So, and also, there's always a debate between in-app purchases and premium content model that continues as well. Looking ahead to 2024, how can developers strike the right balance between offering free-to-play experiences with in-app purchases and providing premium upfront priced games? What lessons from the past can gaming this decision? So maybe we can start with Balaji this question because, hyper-casual to hybrid casual.
We are almost at the end of 2023, right? So you're just talking about something around the corner. So this is the perspective. I was looking up this morning before this panel. What is the market share of free-to-play mobile? It's $83 billion this year, right? What's the share of, what's the estimation of Apple Arcade, which I think we can all agree is one of the biggest premium experience on mobile right now. They do, on the best case scenario, $1 billion in 2025. Let's double that. It's $2 billion. You're talking about 0.02% of this market. Now, really, do we want to focus on that? Go for it.
John, maybe you want to.
Yeah, there's Not much debate, to be honest, unless you have like a strong IAP, so a strong IP, and you want to continue. For example, we are releasing Motorsport Manager 4. It's on pre-order right now. So like that game has been going on since like the start of App Store. So we know that that's going to sell well. So unless you have some IP like that you really want to focus on, I don't think there's any opportunity, to be honest. For some developers, it might be, because it's really hard to do the transition from premium game to free-to-play game.
Yeah.
So some developers can explore the premium subscriptions like Netflix games, Apple Arcade. On those platforms, you need to worry about retention rather than monetization, so you can do a high engaging game and don't really have to build an economy. But again, like, you don't know the ceiling of those.
But just to add to that, it was interesting in the beginning, always the selling point was discoverability. There are less games, so it's more discoverable. But now that's changed, right?
Yeah.
Like you're 1 amongst 1,000 versus 1 amongst 10.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think free-to-play is the place to go still. But again, like, I know that we had success cases with, for example, Yokuto. They were like a studio based in London. They had table tennis game, and we did a free-to-play version of them once we acquired them. Play Sports, similarly, we did Motorsport Manager Online, but we are also releasing that premium game. But at the end of the day, there's no discussion, to be honest. It's free-to-play.
Okay, thank you very much. So the last question will be, and also it's going to be wrap up all this panel actually. So it's going to be, this question will be answered both of our panelists actually. So what are we trending ad monetization features right now, and what will be in the future as well? It's what's going to be still there?
Should I start?
Yeah.
I mean, right now the hot thing seems to be tickets, right, or skip it, however you call it. So in the end, what you're doing is like allowing the user to pay for the time, right? In the end, it's going to be different variations of this. You're asking for the user's time, and a small cohort of it is IAP, right? Like it's like, but not every. It still have 90% of the players. I think 95 who play ads in these kind of games. At least our kind of games. I think yours is a little bit different. Yeah. You have a social element to it, so you'll see different variations of it. But at the fundamental economical level, it's really not going to change, right? At least that's what I think.
So on Max, the hottest trend this year, actually it's always been the case, but now it's bigger than ever. It's the transition to real-time in-app bidding as opposed to the traditional waterfall setup. So just to define it really briefly, real-time in-app bidding takes place as publishers offer their inventory and advertisers bid in real time, competing against one another. And whereas with traditional waterfall setup, the publishers need to prioritize the placements based on historical CPM performance. In-app bidding, it's all automated, and you don't waterfalls are less busy in comparison to traditional waterfall setup. So there's less latency. And with more demand sources, there's more competition, which drives up the CPMs. So you can easily add more in-app bidders without causing latency, which helps bring about a more diverse ad experience for the users. All in all, so you have a better impressions per DAU metric as well as higher CPMs. So this will yield a better ARPDAU for you, which is the bottom line ad mon metrics for many of us. Because of these reasons, on Max, we've seen a rapid transition to in-app bidding from traditional bidding. So more and more publishers are becoming available on Max as bidders. And most recently, Google has switched to in-app bidding. And it's already a top bidder. And we see more and more publishers generating more than half of their revenue from in-app bidding alone. And we expect this to continue into the new year.
Perfect. Maybe you can add.
Yeah, I can maybe add one last point. Like for us, in-game ads is also a good driver of ad revenue. So if you have games like sports games, you have really good placements because it's just natural fits. like the side banners on football games. So that's also something that we are looking at. More brand partnerships is what we are looking at. So besides the traditional video banner, we are looking for different kinds of integrations. Like you are seeing a lot of partnerships and sponsorships with big brands and gaming right now, since like I think this started probably beginning of this year. I think that will continue on to next year as well. It's a bit hard to run that business. I think you need like a dedicated team that is looking at it. But then I think it's a huge opportunity, and it's something that we are looking at.
I just wanted to add one more thing. I remember, since you were talking about bidding and waterfall and stuff, overall, how we see this problem is there's one big problem when it comes to ad monetized games. It's like, yes, the eCPMs are dropping, but like the margin you get, right? Every system on the market is a black box system. You never know what the advertiser is bidding, and you never know how much of the share you're getting. We know it, and I'm not going to go into it, but we want to tackle this problem in a different way by pushing our own in-house mediation, but not a Sunday, but through app-like, right? What we want to do is create a transparent system where everybody can bid, so that there's more benefit for you to bid higher, because you see what you're bidding against and what you're getting. And we already, the product is in beta phase. We have Google as a bidder, we have Meta as a bidder, and in the end, we don't want to charge the revenue. It's a SaaS-based model where you get 100% of the revenue and you pay a fee back, right? So I do personally believe this will change the game in the market, and it's going to be a solution. We are the guinea pigs first, right? We'll take the risks, and once it works out, it'll be out in the market for everyone.
Thank you very much. So I guess we are on time, so thanks everybody. So the quick summary is that actually once everything is changing, you have to be very adaptive, quick, and making many tests as far as I understand. So thanks a lot for listening and joining this session.
Thank you.
Thank you.